Hi, can I get your name?
Aji.
Hi, Aji. I am Natalie, and today is a session that we will film, and I want to confirm that you are still comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Today, our first session is really about getting to know each other and kind of what brought you in. And I want you to understand several things about consent, confidentiality. But the first thing I want to address is my title. I am a marriage and family therapist trainee, and I'm under the supervision of Dr. Amanda Wood, and I'm completing my practicum at Trinity Counseling Center. Before we go any further, I do want to discuss that confidentiality. Everything we discuss in here is going to be confidential, meaning I won't share with anyone except my supervisor. But there are specific legal exceptions that I want to make you aware of. If I become concerned that you are at serious risk of harming yourself, I have a responsibility to take steps to ensure your safety. This might involve talking to someone else, someone from your family. It might be emergency services, or it could be arranging for a mental health evaluation. If you express a clear and imminent intent to harm yourself, I may need to break confidentiality to prevent that from happening, okay? Similarly, if you were to tell me that you have a clear and specific plan to harm somebody, I have a legal and ethical duty to warn both that person and or the authorities just to protect them. And if there's a credible threat to someone else's safety, I am required to take action. I'm also a mandated reporter of suspected child abuse or neglect. This means that if you disclose information about current or past abuse or neglect of a minor, anyone under the age of 18, I am legally required to report that to the correct child protective agency. This reporting obligation applies even if the abuse happened in the past or if someone else is the abuser. In California, I'm also a mandated reporter of suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation of elderly individuals, anyone over the age of 65, or dependent adults who are unable to care for themselves. If a court of law were to issue a valid court order or subpoena requiring me to disclose your records or testify in court, I am legally obligated to comply. However, I will always try to limit the information that I have to share, and I'll inform you if this happens, okay? Do you have any questions regarding the limits of confidentiality?
No.
No? Okay, great. And you know what, we can always kind of come back to it in the future if you need to kind of go through it again, so they'll always be here. There are some important business matters that I want to review. Here at Hope, we have a scheduling and billing policy that I want to review with you. Appointments can be made right after our first session, and any chart changes that are made need to happen at least 24 hours in advance. Just give us a little bit of notice, or you will be charged for that session. The fee for the session is $25, and it does need to be paid at the front desk after the session. Do you have any questions about this?
No.
No? Okay. This first meeting is an opportunity for you to ask me any questions about the process, or if you'd like to talk about any of the limits of confidentiality, or if you have any questions about me, I would be happy to address that at this time.
Okay.
Okay? All right. I will also be taking some notes just because it's our first session and I want to make sure that I get it right. And so, Aji, how do you spell your name? I want to get that correct.
ADJI.
A-D-J-I. Okay, Aji. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and Aji, let's get into what brought you in today.
I'm just stressed a lot because, I don't know if I'm gonna say stress or I'm just scared.
Okay.
I am really scared because, I am Spanish.
Okay.
And I was living 2-3 years ago. There were earthquake.
An earthquake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Happening in my country, and I lost 2 of my friends from that, and I lost a lot of things because of that.
Yeah.
So now I moved here. I have that thing in my mind going on. I am I'm always like worried, like if that happened again, it like make me think a lot. I can't sleep. Every time I'm alone, I feel like that's gonna happen again. It's gonna come. I always check my phone. I always check the weather.
Mhm.
I'm stick on my phone, like checking every time.
Yeah.
If I heard like people talking about it, like let's say they said it's gonna happen like maybe 2 days or something like that, I just get scared. So now I'm working from home
Okay.
because I don't want to go out. So like I work online, and I always like try to save food, like because
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like it's gonna happen, and then I have to like have something that I can save or whatever. It's just a lot.
So when you say that you save food, were you in a situation after the earthquake where you needed to have access to food and you couldn't get it?
Yeah, like when that happened, like the first time it happened in my country, it did like destroyed a lot of things. So
Okay.
we went through like that.
Yeah.
It was not easy to get food because a lot of things did a lot of things did was destroyed,
Yeah.
especially like market where we were getting food and all of that. So people who
That's
didn't,
harsh. Yeah.
yeah, people who didn't like have food, like saving, they were
Yeah.
struggling. So since that, I'm just worried about some like getting like saving food, saving stuff. I always stick in my phone, checking.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Before bid me to work, I quit my job where I
Oh,
was
okay.
working. So now I start a new job. It's online job.
Okay, so that means that you don't have to go out as
Go
much.
out, yeah.
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 Okay. And you mentioned that you lost 2 friends?
Yeah, I lost 2 friends when that happened. And my husband left me 3 years ago. I mean 2 years ago.
2 years ago? After that, after the earthquake?
No, like we met here, but he just left.
Okay.
So now I'm alone.
Okay.
So I go through this like alone.
Yeah, when you're going through it alone, is that something that you want, or something that you're kind of like, I need that other person? Like, where do you fall in that? Because I want to make sure.
Well, he decided to leave,
Yeah.
and I can do nothing about that.
Okay.
So like having no one, I can do nothing about that too, because you cannot force people to stay with you, or you cannot go outside and tell people come with me or come with me or something like that. So I don't think it's a choice. It's just like my situation.
Yeah. And how long were you guys together for?
Like we met when we were back home, and we got married here. So like I can say we know each other since like 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time. And he left after the earthquake.
He left when we got here.
Okay, so
the
after.
earthquake, yeah,
Okay.
after.
Okay. Did he go through the earthquake with you? Was he there at the same time?
We wasn't married that time,
Okay.
but he had experience. Like he knew what was going on because he was there.
Yeah.
So when we got married here, that's when like after maybe a year after that he just left. But we still married.
Oh, okay.
We just leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of adds an extra layer of difficulty to it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. The earthquake, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that was crazy. I lost two of my friends. We were just like, I mean, when that was happening, I was at home with some like cousin. We were just like having fun.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like everything started like falling down and stuff. Like, I mean, maybe people they knew before, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that was just like something that came like that. And yeah, there is like a lot of things that we lost, and then a lot. I was at the hospital though because
Okay, so you got injured?
yeah, I got injured, but not that bad.
Yeah.
But after like I came out, I found out like two of my friends passed away.
Yeah.
from
Were they the
that.
friends that were at your apartment with you?
No,
No,
they
okay.
wasn't there.
Okay.
So like, and then that was so bad. I lost also my grandma.
Okay.
She didn't get injured, but like the emotion and then all of that did cause her like a lot of I don't know.
Yeah.
After that, she passed away. So that traumatized me a lot, losing my two friends and my grandma,
Yeah.
and then losing my house also.
Yeah.
That was, and still like killing me.
Yeah. So what kind of encouraged you to move here and away from where you were? Was it because of a different reason? Or was it because of the earthquake?
I was going to school and
Okay.
then I finished, and then that was my plan to come here to finish my education.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how I
So you continued on with the plan. You're
yeah,
like, okay.
I continue my plan, but right now, like, I finished school, but I'm still working.
Yeah.
I'm still at school, but in the same time, I have a job. But like, I quit my first job because of that. So now I'm doing online job
Yeah.
with like school. So yeah, I moved because that was part of my plan, not because of the earthquake.
Okay.
And also like I'm glad that I'm here because I don't want to be anymore in that environment where like it can remind me like my people that I lost,
Yeah.
and then like the places that I was going to visit, like to spend time.
Yeah.
I saw all those places they destroyed. Like
It was hard to see those things.
yeah, that was like yeah, it's a good time. It's good to move. It's
Okay.
better.
And since you've moved, how has your mental health been?
Bad.
Bad.
I thought that would change, but it's bad because I keep thinking it's not. I'm not thinking about people that I lost or like the stuff or things, but I'm just thinking that happen again.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen if this happen again? And yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense to have that fear. I mean, you've gone through something extremely traumatic, and then, even moving away, you're like, what's to stop it from happening here,
yeah,
especially in California?
yeah. It's not just sadness. Now it's fear.
Yeah. So how have you been coping with that fear?
How? I mean, I can't sleep.
You can't sleep.
I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I am like the fact that I'm always like focused on my phone, checking the weather, checking like all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just annoying. And I always like I notice that like I always talk about that even when I'm around people.
Mhm.
That's the reason why like that pushed me to quit my first job, because I was noticing that like I was just talking about that with my coworker.
Yeah.
That was my whole like subject to talk about. And yeah, I don't think like people want to hear that.
Yeah, I could see where you're like, you don't want to spread it around or care. It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like to burden other people with this fear.
And sometimes I even like don't want to be with people because that's the only thing that I talk about.
Yeah.
So it make me like stay alone sometimes to want to be alone.
Yeah. You know what? I'm really glad and I'm proud that you came in, to recognize that problem and to see that the sources that you have, the resources that you have, the people in your life, they're not able to kind of support you the way you need it. And so the fact that you were able to kind of take this step is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I want to acknowledge that and just kind of say, like, I want to work with you in this process and kind of figure out each step as we go along. And especially since you can't sleep, how are you doing with eating?
Eating. I don't eat a lot.
Okay.
I barely eat.
Barely eat.
Because I'm sometimes like, is this funny? But sometimes like I have to save the food.
Yeah.
saving, and then I keep saving, and
Yeah.
then that made me end up like not being, like not wanting to eat at
Yeah.
all. Or like if I eat, I'm like, okay, I can't eat a lot.
Okay. So you're kind of trying to ration your food in case.
Yeah, I know I can go buy more, but it's just like something that I just have in my mind, and it push me like to don't eat a lot. I just have in my mind I have to save, I have to save, I have even money. I said I have to save, because I don't know what's gonna happen.
That's a heavy burden to carry, Aji.
I know.
And especially since you are going through it alone and you've experienced a lot of loss in your friends and your grandmother and your husband and that relationship, it's, and even your home.
Yeah, my places.
Yeah. And grief is complicated. It's a complicated emotion, and especially when it's caused because of something traumatic that's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you handling the feelings around that grief?
How? It's tough. It's really tough, especially if you don't have like nobody who can be there, listen to you, or like nobody who can share how you feel. It's kind of like dragging you like crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you're crazy, and then what's interesting is that like I am sometimes like looking like to the wall if there is any like line like
Yeah, the structure and how
like,
sound it is. Yeah, absolutely.
like I kind of everywhere I go I just check like, oh, why this? If I see it, I don't want to stay in that place.
Yeah.
I just keep like switching house.
Okay.
Because I'm like, if that happened and then nothing is happening right now and there is this, so if that happened, it's gonna be worse.
Yeah, where you're like, it might be more dangerous if that were to happen.
Yeah. So like I'm just like looking around everywhere, like it's just crazy.
Where you're located now, do you feel like it's a safe place for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I made sure like that everything that can make me feel comfortable is there.
Okay.
I do that. But I can't trust the thing.
Yeah, you're kind of struggling with everything else as well.
Everything else. But where I live, like I made sure like everything is fine
Okay.
for now.
Yeah. Do you have a support system out here? Family, friends?
No, not really.
Okay.
I had my husband, but he disappeared.
Yeah.
So now I don't have nobody. I have myself.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it where you need that extra. Do you talk to them on the phone? Do you call them?
No, he left.
Okay. How about your friends or family?
I lost my friends.
Okay.
My closest friends that I had, I lost them. My family, like, well, we're not that, like, I mean, I don't want to stress them out
Okay.
because they already worry about my condition here, like, am I okay? If, like, I'm walking, if everything is fine. So I hide them, my emotion, I hide them, like what's going on in my mind and in my mental health and all of that, because it's gonna make them like more stress.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just going through this like alone.
Yeah.
I don't talk to them a lot.
Okay. I do want to ask because having gone through so much loss, having gone through a move, feeling not very supported, have you had any thoughts of suicide or self-harm?
Not really. Sometimes I kind of thought about it, but I'm like, no.
Okay.
Because of like, you know, in our culture, we don't truly like, yeah, it's not something that is coming commonly, like,
Oh, okay.
so,
So you kind of have that cultural background that's kind of
yeah.
okay.
But I don't think about that a lot. It's not like a book. I don't think it's gonna, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering that one. Okay. So, what are your goals in therapy?
I just wanna be like free. To not like live like people, normal people, because
Yeah.
what am I doing? I don't like, because every time like I talk to someone, after that conversation I feel like I'm just trying to like I'm just saying that if this person think that I'm crazy, because when I start talking to them and I just start like talking about the earthquake and stuff, they just be shocked and say like I'm sorry. But the fact that they say I'm sorry, it make me feel sad, because I'm like, okay, do they think that I'm crazy?
Yeah, you're not sure.
Yeah, like I'm like, I think they think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And that feeling, it make me,
Uncomfortable?
yeah, uncomfortable. I don't want to be around people because I don't want them to think I'm crazy. I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no,
I'm
you've
not
been through
crazy.
something.
I'm not crazy.
No.
I am not crazy.
And sometimes retelling the story, that urge to kind of talk about it, it's our brain's way of like processing what happened. And so, this is one of the benefits of therapy is we can kind of go through it over and over and again because it's going to help your brain process what happened. And it is very traumatic. What you've gone through to do all of that in such a short period of time, to survive that, to feel that loss, to move, to get another loss. I mean, these are all things that it takes time to process and go through.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it can have that feeling. It can definitely have that feeling at times where you're really trying to have other people make sense for it to make sense for you.
Yeah, I don't think like people, they understand me.
Okay.
I don't think they understand me. And then it's not something that I'm forcing people. It's just coming naturally.
Yeah.
Because so coming back to your question, what I want is just like to be free.
Okay.
To not think about this anymore.
Yeah.
So I can go back to normal thing, go to walk and then hang out with, make new friends.
Make new friends.
Yeah.
What for school? Are you able to make friends at school? Is that something that's an option?
I spend a lot of time at home than school. School sometimes I just have like one classes or two classes. And then other people who are there also, it's the same. We just met for one time, like for just 2 hours, and after everybody get back to their activity. And most of them, they married, they have kids, so they have stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have time to make friends.
Okay. Okay, so that's kind of where you're like non-starter, not going to happen there. Do you feel safe at school?
At school? At school, yeah. I don't think about that at school sometimes. Like, sometimes it sometimes like cause I remember one day they were just like we were having class and then there were like a hair fire or whatever like that alarm
Mm-hmm.
and then they were asking us to come out.
Yeah.
So once I heard that sound, I start I felt so bad. I even can't explain how I was feeling. Instead of thinking of fire, I was thinking of earthquake.
Yeah.
So I couldn't move.
Okay. So when you feel that threat of an earthquake or the idea or the memory, what happens to your body?
Stress. I mean, I feel uh, like I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
Fear.
Fear.
I start like sweating. Like
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And how long does it normally take you to kind of feel okay again?
8 hours.
8 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's
I
a
know.
long, yeah, that's a
I
long
know.
time to like,
8 hours.
okay.
Like yeah, and in those when that happened, it's take me like I feel maybe sometimes like more safe if I'm in my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I'm in my house, like yeah, it can be like shorter than that. But when I'm outside, I'm like somebody who is lost.
Okay.
8 hours, I can feel inside. My heart is pumping like I'm in danger.
Okay. So kind of a fear response entirely
Mm.
when your body is,
Yeah.
that adrenaline gets kicked up.
Yeah, and if I'm in my house, it's like it can be less than that because I'm like, okay, I have my food, I have my like all of that around me, so I will be fine.
Okay. When you've had these experiences, what have you done to kind of help bring you back down? Has anything worked?
When that happened, I just stay like alone because
You stay
why
alone?
why I wanna stay alone is that like I don't wanna be around people and if that happen they die in front of me.
Yeah.
So I prefer like seeing stuff like coming down, like falling down, and I die alone, than being there, seeing like people die in front of me.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be more worse. So that's why I prefer to be alone. When things happen, I don't want to see other people struggling. I just want to see my struggle.
I think that makes a lot of sense where, especially, you know, having gone through that, the risk of others
Losing
being hurt.
others
Yeah.
people, yeah.
Yeah, and having to kind of relive that trauma in that way, yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer to be alone, you prefer to be at home. Do you do any type of exercise, breathing, anything that kind of helps bring you down? Journaling, music, like what's your calming?
In our culture, sometimes like we have some ritual that we do,
Okay,
like some kind of like
can you tell me
prayer.
about it?
Yeah, it's just like something that my grandma was making us to do, like before we go to bed, before we go out, like some kind of thing. So that's what I listen to that sometimes. It make me feel calm sometimes. But it make me feel sad also because it remind me of my grandma sometimes.
Okay, and she's, how long ago since she passed?
1 year.
A year ago? Yeah, so
A year
it's still pretty
ago.
fresh.
Yeah, it remind me of her. I just want to be free.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. To have that weight on you all the time and to have that fear to carry it around and have it kind of tell you what to do with your life at certain times, I can see where you're affected by that. Yeah. And there's a lot of feelings that come with that, especially ones where you're saying that you are feeling that stress, you're feeling a lot of fear. You know, When was the last time that you felt happy?
Happy.
Happy.
When? I even don't remember.
You don't even remember.
I even don't remember.
Okay.
Since that thing happened, I experienced more fear and sadness than happiness.
Okay.
Even when I got my new job, it's a good job,
Yeah.
but I wasn't that happy
Yeah.
because I did it because I didn't want to go out.
Yeah.
So
So what did you feel when you got that new job? If it wasn't happiness, what was?
I was just okay.
It was just okay.
Yeah, I was just okay. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, I was just okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry you've gone through that experience. You know, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With your husband, when was the last time you saw him?
I truly don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Okay. We don't have to talk about him right now. Is it something that you'd want to address in the future?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. We can leave that alone for now.
Yeah.
And let's focus on, especially because if your goal in therapy is just to kind of be free, I want to work on kind of mitigating your suffering.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of times trauma will stay with us. It kind of becomes a part of us to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to learn how to work with it, to know what our triggers are, to kind of learn how to operate with it as part of us, to the point where at some point you're able to kind of just let it go
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. Is that something that you're interested in working on? Some coping skills with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that can help.
Okay.
If that can help, I can do it.
Okay. So kind of one of the goals for therapy would be working on some of those coping skills, mitigating that suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also you kind of mentioned that you want to work on making friends here.
Yeah, I think that can help also. That's just what I think. It's just like a thing that I just like maybe it can help if I try it. But if I made friend, I'm just gonna be like so annoying with my story. Sometimes like you know what? Then we just stay. If I think like how am I going to behave with them?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to hurt people, like telling them this sad story, make them cry. Because I remember the first time I tell my story to one of my friends, she was crying. It was like she was the one who just went through the thing.
Yeah.
She was crying so bad.
And you're like, it's my trauma.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you taking it? So like, yeah, and then that made me feel like really guilty. Because I don't want to make people feel that way because of like my story, something that I carry from like my town to here. Like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm hurting people.
You sound like a very protective person.
I don't know.
You know, where you don't want to burden other people, you don't want them to hurt, you don't want them to feel what you feel.
Yeah, because I'm feeling so bad and I don't want anybody to feel the way I feel.
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel like that. So that's why I don't want to tell my story anymore. I don't want to talk to people about this. That's the main reason why I came here. So like I can just say it because it makes me feel like a little bit free when I talk about it. Like, yeah.
Okay. So even talking about it though, you're saying it makes you feel freer. So maybe we've got to figure out some ways that allow you to talk about it in a way that you don't feel is burdening others or being where your protective sense of others isn't kind of being triggered.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. I want to talk that situation to people who I feel like they're not gonna judge me.
Okay.
They gonna understand that. They not gonna say that I'm crazy because I know I'm not crazy.
You're definitely not crazy.
So like I don't want them to think like I'm crazy. That's why I don't want to talk to everybody. I'm selecting the people, and then I just stopped. I even like studying because I don't know what's going on in people's minds.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell my story anymore because they think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy.
Okay.
I lost my friends. I lost them. I lost my grandma. And that thing did happen.
It definitely happened.
It happened. But when we tell people, they just take it like they don't consider my feelings.
Yeah.
They don't take it like seriously. They think I'm crazy.
When you're telling your story, does it feel like some people are being dismissive of it, or like a get over it kind of thing?
No, they just kind of like, oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, this is so bad. Sometimes they cry.
Oh, geez. Okay, so that you're getting
So,
a lot
like-
of emotions from people with
so
this.
like I'm like, okay. Like I am telling it because it's something that did happen.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
a
don't
fact.
want I don't want them to think like I am still like, okay, you acting that way because of this.
Yeah.
So like I don't want them to see everything that I do or everything I said it's because of that.
You're more than this one experience.
But me telling them, they saw them like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you feel that way. Oh, you like. And then that sometimes make me feel like, oh, they think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And they think like something is going on in my life.
Do you ever feel like you're going crazy?
Yeah, when I look at the world.
Yeah. You're like those moments. You're like, oh no.
Those moments after doing it, I'm like, what was I doing? Like, what am I looking for?
You know, I don't think that's even a crazy act though, because it's one that's coming from a very valid reason. Like it might be crazy to somebody who's never gone through this experience, but you know, you've gone through an experience where cracked walls they killed people. And so what used to be something that was small and not a big deal becomes a much more important detail in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that's crazy. I think that makes a lot of sense that you would have that kind of reaction to that. Yeah. And so those moments when you're kind of working through that, you know, I hear you saying that, you know, crazy, 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 but you're justified. This isn't coming out of a delusion. This isn't coming out of nothing. This is coming from something that happened, that was real, that was tangible, that took people away from you that you loved. And so I do not think that's crazy.
I use that word because like I have my mom who's sometimes telling me you're crazy.
Yeah.
Because when I'm just trying like to bring back the story,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, I think you're crazy.
Okay.
So that's why that word's crazy
Just sticks in your
stick
brain.
in my brain. Like
Okay.
even when I talk to people, I bring it back crazy.
Okay.
That's the reason why I use that word.
Well, has your mom gone through this?
Yeah, she did.
She
But
went
they're
through
all
this?
okay.
They're all okay?
I'm the only one who's just like struggling like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I even don't know if they're okay.
You guys kind of haven't had that conversation too much?
Because like every time I'm trying to bring up this story, she's like, I
Mhm.
think you're crazy. I think you should like leave this thing, really go away. I'm like, okay, you guys are fine. You didn't lose your friends. You didn't lose like your closest friends. So maybe okay. But sometimes just sitting there, I'm like, I don't think they're okay. Because I can't believe like all these things happen and they say they're okay. Maybe they are trying to be strong, but they cannot be okay.
Does your family talk about mental health openly?
No, it's not something that we
Not something.
we do.
Okay. So you really don't know how they're doing. You're kind of guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said they're okay.
Yeah.
They said maybe okay. Maybe also it's because like me, like losing my friends. Maybe that's the reason why I'm acting like this. Like I'm not acting like them. As I said, they didn't lose anything, like friends or something like that. I was the one who lost my friends.
Yeah.
So maybe like that's the reason why I'm like struggling with this.
Yeah. I mean, not only did you lose your friends, but you also moved, and so it's kind of one of those like grief on top of grief.
Loneliness.
Yeah, where maybe your family more connected to each other, where they kind of live closer to each other.
Yeah,
Build
because
it
in
more
my culture, like we don't do a lot of like therapy or mental health.
Okay.
Because if anything happen, you can go and talk to your auntie, your mom, your
Yeah.
sister. Like they're gonna support you. Maybe like yeah, that's why they okay because they have each other.
Yeah, a bit more of a support system.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah.
I thought I would have it with my husband, but that
Yeah, you didn't know that was going to
man-
happen. Yeah.
that stupid man just disappeared. So that guy is a bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I completely agree.
Yeah, he was a bullshit.
Oh, I'm sorry you went through that one. But we can definitely talk about that at future appointments when you're a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it.
that's all right. I'm like, we've got plenty to work with the earthquake and everything that you've gone through. I mean, the loss is huge. And, you know, I'm really glad to hear that your family is managing okay, as far as you're aware, because I'm like, I'd hate for that to be added to your plate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's kind of be grateful that they're okay. Do you have an auntie that you can talk to? That's a bit more, that doesn't call you crazy?
Yeah. I mean, no.
No.
Right now, no.
Okay.
I talk to anybody.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe while we're here, one of the goals can be working on building that support network and finding those people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that idea?
I mean, everything that can help me to be free. I
Yeah.
will try.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Auntie, we've got about 5 more minutes left in our session today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of want to go over what we kind of talked about and how you're feeling after this.
Okay.
Okay? So we kind of spoke about this earthquake, your feelings about what happened, what happens when you are having these triggered moments, and what you've done to cope so far. And so I think going forward, we can definitely work on building some of those coping skills and how to handle those triggers. And I mean, 8 hours is a long time to feel that way. And so if we're able to kind of reduce that and kind of work on that goal and just kind of making it easier for you in your day-to-day life, I think is going to be probably one of our biggest goals. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Any feelings that kind of came up for you today?
Today,
Yeah.
I mean, today in the morning, like when I wake up,
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling like a little bit maybe stress.
Okay.
Yeah, like that was worse last night because I did not close my eyes at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. That's how I know like this is like going worse. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep last night, and I kind of like I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're tired.
Yeah, I don't know what to do anymore. And yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I kind of feel like maybe I should go back home.
Okay. I think in our next session, that's something that we can delve into a little bit deeper on, like, where you feel like you need to be. Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it's not a good idea. Because I know if I go there, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah. Okay.
Even thinking about it,
Makes.
it make me feel like crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I will be able to manage it. No, that's a bad idea.
Okay. Well, that was a quick one to figure out.
That's a bad idea.
Okay, so maybe staying here is kind of a safer place for you for now.
Yeah, for now.
For now. Okay, Aji. Well, we do have to end the session, and I want you to, during this next week, just kind of focus on breathing when you're having these harder moments, slowing your heart rate down. And so I want you to just take in one deep breath right now, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay. And so we're gonna close the session, and if you want to make another appointment, you can schedule it right after at the front desk. And I do have a session rating scale that I'm going to give you, and also my information I have right here. So you can just take a couple seconds to fill that out, and then you will be good to go. Okay, so go ahead and fill that out. Need help.
Do I need to take this home?
You take that home.
Oh, I can take it home.
You can you take the Post-it home.
Oh, the Post-it home.
And
Okay.
that's going to be how you fill out the next part.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the date today?
The 15th.
Do I need to write it here, or I just need like to make a
Just a mark,
okay.
like circle,
Okay.
an X, whatever you're comfortable with.
Let's do this. That's it?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So I will take this, and you take that, and then you are good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
This is for you.
Perfect. All right. I will walk you out.
Thank you.